Right. Welcome, everyone. My name is Courtney Clark, and I serve as the program director for for Everywhere She Maps, which is a program of YouthMappers. I'm really thrilled to see you all here today and to have our amazing guest speaker, Janet Chapman from Crowd2Map Tanzania. Before we kick off with her remarks, I want to just give a brief introduction to Everywhere She Maps. The program is about a year old now, so happy to introduce you to some of the activities we've been able to introduce over the past year. Just a basic introduction. So Everywhere She Maps, it's a program that we are designing to increase women's participation and to support women mappers within the YouthMappers network. We really want to strengthen the inclusiveness of the geospatial community and ensure that women's perspectives are being represented in apps, websites, and mapping platforms, including OpenStreetMap. We're really focused on building technical capacity, as well as enhancing the professional and networking skills of YouthMappers students and contributing to mapping projects that are focused on data that's relevant to women's needs. So it's a very inclusive program. There are various opportunities that are available to YouthMappers of all genders. And then we also have some specific opportunities for YouthMappers who are women or whose gender is non-binary or non-conforming. We founded Everywhere She Maps on the basic belief or premise that when women are more involved in mapping activities, security improves, lives are saved, power is generated, prosperity rises, and innovation happens. So these are our 5 founding pillars. And some of the activities we're running to achieve our goals. First, these professional and career development sessions, of course, are a key part of Everywhere She Maps. And we're also experimenting with an internship matching program to pair YouthMappers students with hiring organizations. And actually Crowd2Map Tanzania is one of our first partners in that effort. We have 8 regional ambassadors. These are women leaders in the YouthMappers community. They work with chapters to increase women's participation and help us build our partnerships in the field. We also run mapping campaigns. So we currently have a project to increase access to electricity in Sierra Leone. We're about to start a project under Everywhere She Maps to map water points in Uganda. And then finally, hopefully in 2022, although it really depends on COVID situation, we're really hoping to host our first Women in Technology Leadership Fellowship, which would be a 2-week gathering of about 20 women leaders from the YouthMappers community for intensive leadership. Last slide, just want to let you know there are many more of these sessions coming down the road. So there is a link on the screen to find these sessions and register for them. I'll be sure to actually send all this information in a follow-up email to you. But we really hope you're able to join some additional of these sessions. And at the end of the session, I'll have an evaluation form for you. Anyone who attends 3 or more of the sessions that we're hosting in this series and completes the evaluation and includes their email address will be eligible. I will do a personalized resume review for you. So hopefully that can encourage you to attend a few sessions and fill out the evaluations. With that, I'm going to pass things over to Janet. And we're thrilled to have Janet. She and Crowd2Map Tanzania have been amazing partners of YouthMappers and work very closely with many of our chapters in Tanzania. She has a lot of great opportunities for you to be involved as a volunteer, but also to develop professionally while doing great work for Crowd2Map Tanzania. So with that, I'll hand it over to Janet, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Courtney, and it's really fantastic to be here. Also particularly grateful that you managed to organise the internship program for us, and I believe that there's 2 of our interns here, so hopefully they can talk a little bit at the end. Also, if people have got any questions, please drop them in the chat, and I can answer them at the end or as we go along. That's great. So I'm the chair of Tanzania Development Trust, which is a volunteer-run charity that's been operating in rural Tanzania for the last 46 years. And just a little bit about us here. So you can see on our website, our main priorities are access to water for rural communities, which is a huge issue in many villages and schools. Small income generating projects. So the picture in the middle is them carrying beehives into the forest to generate money from honey. And then girls' education, particularly hostels for government secondary school. And there's some examples of girls there. We only operate in certain areas of Tanzania, the ones on the map where there tends to be less development and fewer other NGOs working. And in those areas, we have local volunteers. The one from Mara region is an FGM survivor, an activist called Roby Samweli. So she's doing some amazing work protecting girls from female genital mutilation, which is an issue in Mara. And there is a film about her work there. And if you want to know more information about her work, that is her website. And I'll share these slides afterwards if people are interested. So they do a lot of community outreach. They run safe houses for girls refusing FGM. And one of the issues that they had, a particular challenge, was the areas where they worked were very poorly mapped. So typically they would get a phone call in the middle of the night saying there's girls about to be cut in Kabancha village, but that village was not on any map, so it was very difficult for them to find girls in time, so girls were cut. And every time girls are subjected to FGM, there's a risk that they'll bleed to death and die. So now we've worked with digital champions in Serengeti district to create better maps of that area using base maps that are created by over 16,000 online volunteers, but also people on the ground in Tanzania. And one of the issues around FGM cutting is that it's certain tribes do it and certain clans, which are subdivisions of tribes, do it at different times. So now we've been able to create this map, then it's much more easy to plan when, to know when cutting is going to be happening, and for people like Roby and the local police to plan the interventions around that. So we're very grateful to GISE, who are some volunteers who created this map from the data that we'd collected. We also do a lot of training around open data more generally. So one of the things that we really want to do is to build people's skills up on the ground, particularly in rural areas. So we've done a lot of training in Kobo Toolbox and ODK so that people can start collecting the data that they need. So this is some information about the girls coming to the safe house. And then from there, we've been able to do some visualizations. Another of our projects is in Kagera, so quite near to the Ugandan border. So we built a girls' hostel here. This isn't a very remote area. So here you can see some students that are carrying one of their sick colleagues. This student on this stretcher that they've made has malaria, so they're carrying them up the hill, I think an hour and a half to the nearest hospital. So this is a sort of reality of many of the projects that we're working with. And actually, when I first visited this school, Ikondo, in 6 years ago, I was trying to get there. It was pouring with rain. The person I was with didn't know where it was. It wasn't on any map. And so we drove around for hours, and the school kept phoning us saying, "Where are you?" And we said, "I don't know." We literally drove through rivers because the roads are terrible. It was raining, so nobody was around to ask. And I thought, this is crazy. I live in London. I'm used to having good maps. So it seemed like a solvable problem, this and the issue with the FGM activists not being able to find girls. So that's why I started Crowd2Map 6 years ago. So we've also created maps like this, which shows how far girls and boys walk to school. So you can see some of them, so 51 students were walking 9 kilometers to school there, and 9 kilometers there, 9 kilometers back. So it's a really huge issue, and evidence like this can help demonstrate the need for girls' hostels, for example, because girls in particular are put at great risk if they're walking large distances. They tend to be, often they can be attacked on the way. And also when they get home, they tend to be the people that have to then go and collect the water, collect the firewood, do the cooking. So it makes it very difficult for them to carry on with their studies. So Crowd2Map, as I said, was set up by me 6 years ago, and there's a lot more information on our website, so please check it out if you haven't. So as we have a very large number of online volunteers mapping from satellite images, and it would be great if any of you wanted to get involved with that. But we also have networks of people on the ground in Tanzania using apps like Maps.me and Osmand and ODK to collect data about their local communities and the points of interest that they need adding to the map. So in 2019, we had a micro grant. We had a grant via HOT and USAID as part of the Women Connect project, and this allowed us to set up a network of digital champions in 87 villages. So each village selected one woman who'd never been online before, who was a member of the Women and Children's Protection Committee, and they were given training about how to use a smartphone, how to use Maps.me, how to map their village, and also how to report gender-based violence using ODK. So here you can see one of the training sessions that we did together with Jeffrey from HOT, who I'm sure most of you know. So we've created many different maps, village level maps, and also we've trained many different groups across Tanzania. So recently, quite a lot of the groups that we've been training were awarded micro grants. So this is including Hope, who we work with very closely, but also I think there's people here from some of these groups here, so in which case it would be great to hear more. So they are mapping many different things in Tanzania, such as mining sites where child labor is a huge issue, gender-based violence, things around nutrition, and also about schools, school locations. So a lot of really great projects there that we're trying to help with. So we have a lot of different volunteer opportunities if you're interested. So obviously mapping, both from satellite images if you're not in rural Tanzania, or on the ground if you are. Help with validating if you're an advanced mapper, which I know many of you are. We create a lot of Kobo ODK forms, so always looking for help with that. And also when we're collecting data with ODK, putting that into OSM is also something that's really helpful. One of the things we've done also is we've taken open government data, particularly around clinic and school locations, and put that into OSM. So that's again something that you could help with if you're interested. So we have a Slack channel, which I'll show you very shortly, and we give feedback to new mappers. So that's something, if you're an advanced mapper, then potentially you could help with that. We do a lot of online training, so generally have 1 or 2 sessions a week via Zoom, coordinated via a WhatsApp group, which everyone's very welcome to join. And if you wanted to do some training to that group, that would be great. We have some badges on our Slack channel, which if you register, you can see. So currently we have one around buildings and one around roads, but we want to start developing that. We want to develop the mapping that we're doing eventually to cover things like land use as well. And creating maps using QGIS or similar. So I showed you some of the examples that we've got already. You know, some of them are better than others. They're not necessarily as good as they could be, but we want to do a lot more village level maps, district level maps. So both printable maps that could go on, say, a village office or a district medical officer's wall, but also web maps showing, you know, where are the schools and where are the clinics, etc. And if you're interested, we have social media channels. We have LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we always need help with managing those. So if that's of interest, please get in touch. And then we have quite a few mapathons and events. So if you are interested in helping with those, helping with publicity, helping with validating on the day, etc., then again, that would be really, really helpful. So those are some of the opportunities available with Crowd2Map. And then with Tanzania Development Trust, also we could really benefit from some help with social media, if you're interested in that. We have a lot of local partners in Tanzania, so and some of them don't have a website or have a very basic website. So if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. Also, we're always looking for people to help with infographics and videos. So we tend to get a lot of video footage sent via WhatsApp from Tanzania. Often it needs editing, or it needs the sound improving, or etc. So those are also really valuable tasks. Then if you're interested in helping with fundraising, that could be publicizing an event, researching potential grant places, helping with writing grant applications, or helping with online events. Those are also brilliant. Finally, so we have a lot of small income generating projects in Tanzania. Mostly they're very, people haven't necessarily had a huge amount of education, particularly in things around IT, around bookkeeping. So if you were interested, I could connect you with particular projects, and then you could maybe give some assistance around simple bookkeeping and so on. So for some of those, being able to speak Swahili would be an advantage, but for some of those, English would be fine. So those are some of the opportunities that are available. I just wanted to very briefly show, this is the Slack channel that we have. So you can see we have a very large number of people in here, and I'm going to post the link to the channel in the chat. So if people would like to join, then please do. And then very happy to take any questions.
Janet, I know probably many of our mappers are, very interested in volunteering, and it would be helpful for them professionally to have certificates and that kind of thing. And I know Crowd2Map works with the UN on certificates. Would you mind talking about that for a minute?
Yes, so a lot of our volunteers have come through UN online volunteering, though they seem to be redoing their website at the moment, so I don't think it's active right now. But yes, we can certainly provide certificates to people who volunteer with us, and yeah, and also references if need be. Also, what I should have mentioned more is about the intern program. So if people, I don't know, is Sheila here and Gift Hope? I don't know if you'd like to say anything about the internship program and what you've been doing, or if you don't want to, you can also write in the chat. But we're very, very happy to have an internship program. This is the first time that we've done it, and we're really hoping to be able to repeat it in the future. Great. Gift Hope, do you want to speak? If you do, unmute yourself. So one of the other projects that that we're starting very shortly, well, expanding really, is there is a project with GIGA UNICEF around school mapping. I don't know if anyone else here has been involved in other countries, so we're hoping to do a lot more of that. So actually I was talking to Raya, the Youth Mapper ambassador in Zanzibar this morning, and we're going to collaborate on that. Another project that we want to do much more of is mapping clinic locations, and particularly linking that to where the nearest electricity source is. So I was talking to Chad Blevins yesterday, who is one of the founders of YouthMappers, about doing a project around that. So and I know, Courtney, you were saying something about electricity access in Sierra Leone, I think. I don't know if you could say something about that.
Sure, absolutely. So currently, YouthMappers, we have a project going with many of our chapters in Sierra Leone, and we're also working with the various government ministries in the country and Arizona State University. And the students are doing field mapping of current electricity infrastructure, and also gathering like street level imagery through Mapillary. And this data will then be kind of processed by Arizona State University, who has an institute that helps governments expand electricity access. And so they're going to use the map data to determine in rural villages where to start installing electricity poles or solar access as well. So that's a really great project. We're hoping to replicate it in other parts of West Africa. We're actually making a documentary about it as well, so keep an eye out for that. It probably will be released in the next few months. And if any of you are based in Uganda, we will be starting a new project there focused on water point mapping, so keep an eye out for that as well.
Yes, that sounds great. And we spoke to Stella about that, and we're also hoping to replicate that water project in Tanzania.
Amazing, that's so great.
So with the with the electricity, so I know in Uganda the power company has added all of the data about where the electricity poles are and so on into OpenStreetMap. Is that the same in Sierra Leone, or?
Yeah, it's similar. I don't think that there's been like countrywide data submitted by a utility or the government. But that's, I don't think they have that data. So that's what we're collecting in the first place, really. Yeah. Awesome. While we're, waiting for any questions, I am going to launch a quick poll. If you all could please fill it out. It's completely anonymous, but it just really helps us evaluate the success of these webinars and make them better in the future and just kind of understand who's attending. And I also wanted to mention Gift Hope put in the chat that she can't unmute herself, but the internship is going good and she's learning a lot of things, including digital skills. So really, really happy to hear that, Gift Hope. And for those youth mappers in this session, like Janet said, we'll be happy to continue having internships with Crowd2Map in the future. So also keep an eye out for those opportunities that you can apply for.
Thank you. So someone's asked a question about what's the difference between Crowd2Map and Humanitarian OpenStreetMap. So, well, Humanitarian OpenStreetMap, or HOT, is a US-based the headquarters are in the US. It's a global organization that has very many staff. So they have a hub in Nairobi for East Africa, and I don't know how many, Courtney, staff worldwide, but a lot. And they also make the tasking manager, which is a tool that Crowd2Map and many other groups use. Crowd2Map is a volunteer-run project, but we use the HOT Humanitarian OpenStreetMap tools. We liaise with HOT, so I'm a HOT voting member, and we're also part of Missing Maps. So Missing Maps is a sort of group of organizations that are mapping particularly the places where maps are missing. So it includes people like the Red Cross, Doctors Without Borders, MSF, and YouthMappers, plus many others. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. I think ours has got a raised hand.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
Oh, Awaz, we can't quite hear you. Do you want to maybe type your question into the chat?
Yeah, I couldn't fill out the poll. I don't know if other people, I thought maybe it was because I was a co-host, but Michael's saying the same.
That's interesting because it looks like 8 people have been able to.
Hey, there's an issue with question 4. It's a mass answer, and it is the same as question 3.
What's that?
Like question 3 and 4 are a mass answer, and they are the same, and someone can't be in both at the same time.
Oh, yes. Okay, I see. Yeah. Yes, I had to make questions 3 and 4 kind of the same because they only allow 10 options and I wanted to include more world regions than 10. So I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, if you are from a region other than those listed in question 4, I guess just go ahead and select, I don't know, select West Asia, and I'll just know that probably most of the people are not from West Asia, if that makes sense. Yes, I realize that's an error on my part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Chisholm's asking the same thing. So yeah, again, just to clarify for question 4, if you're not from any of the world regions that are listed, just go ahead and select West Asia, and I'll just make a note of that when I'm looking at the data. I can't edit the poll while it's live, unfortunately, but thank you for pointing that out. Awes, did you want to type your question in the chat? Does anyone else have questions or comments? Have you been doing any sort of similar projects in your own countries or your local area? Anything that's similar that we could maybe learn from?
And I know that there's quite a lot of interns from HOT here, so it would be great to hear from them about what they've been doing, what they're hoping to do with all that new knowledge.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Pascalina, I know Robbie is a hot data intern as well, and Emmanuel. If any of you want to tell the rest of the group a little bit about the hot data quality internship, I think that would be really great.
Can I go?
Please.
Oh, yes. It is a good afternoon here. So I'm Michael from Uganda, and they are also quite intense.
I think it's a bit hard to understand you, Michael. I don't know if you can get closer to your microphone or.
Oh, okay. I'm also part of the hot data quality intern group. What we are doing, we had several trainings on using the different editing tools, the ID editor, JOSM, basic JOSM, and then the advanced one. And what we are doing, like they are getting different groups that need help, especially for now, in regard to validation. So if you have tasks that need help on validation, you can get in touch with Sam or Becky. They are splitting us into groups and assigning us those tasks that need validation, either urgent or that have been there for long without validation. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, maybe just to add something to what Mikhail said. So additionally to the training that we are having at HOT, like maybe a disaster ninja that we had yesterday, and also some tools for maybe to ensure the data quality that we are mapping. So we have also a lot of fun with HOT meeting some HOT staffs and other and also some people of other organizations like EFLC that are also dealing with some data. So it's really really fun and also helpful to learn about them on how they manage their career. So yeah, this is what I think. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Yes, thank you so much to both of you for sharing. All right. Any other questions or thoughts or anything else you wanted to add, Janet?
No, not really. I've put my email in the chat, so if you would like to help or get in touch or have any questions, then please do get in touch with me.
Perfect.
You can also reach me via the Crowd2Map or Tanzania Development Trust website. So, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and thank you so much for arranging this.
Yes.
I think Chisholm's just put his hand up.
Oh yeah, Chisholm.
Okay, good afternoon from Nigeria.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I have a question. You say something about you are planning to go on a project on inputting power infrastructure data into OSM, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think I have a keen interest in that, and I hope I will. Is it possible that I could get involved, like help out or something? Because I'm planning to write a thesis on SDG 7,
Okay, well,
basically needed forecasting.
okay, please drop me an email.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you.
Great
Thank you.
question.
And I see that Lydia, another of our interns, has just joined, I think. Lydia, we've nearly finished, but did you want to say anything? Lydia, okay, are you there? Okay, well, never mind. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Yes, if people have any questions or comments, please get in touch. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, Janet. That was amazing. Thanks to everyone for your questions. One final note, I've posted a link to the evaluation form in the chat. I'll also email it to you and follow up. Please take 2 minutes to fill it out. It's very short and easy. And if you put your email address, we'll view it separately from your answers, so no need to worry about that. But if you attend 3 of these sessions and complete the evaluations, I will personally review your resume and provide feedback on it, so you can improve it. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Reach out with any additional questions, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.